This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI Gaming and the Flexi controller. What sets the NYXI Flexi apart is the ability to change the left stick and D-pad around, so the sticks are either symmetrical or asymmetrical, so you can swap the controls to your preferred Xbox or PlayStation layout. You can connect the Flexi to PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch, Android and iOS, and it comes complete with Hall effect sticks and triggers, as well as mechanical micro switch ABXY keys and RGB. Latency is non-existent in both wired connection and via the included 2.4 GHz dongle for wireless connection, as NYXI have done a great job with the 1000 Hz polling rate, meaning your inputs are lightning fast in game. Check out our full review over at podcastversusplayer.com to find out more, and use promo code PvP to get 10% off at NYXIGame.com. Now, back to the podcast. Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 305. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who asked me, who does Beyonce call when she has roof issues? All the shingle ladies. That's a good joke.
That's funnier than it has any right to be, that.
Dirty bloody Dan.
Evening.
Evening, and hello.
And hello to you.
How are thee?
Yes, good.
Yes, that's what exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I thought that maybe there was going to be something else I could add in there, but no. Everything is tickety-boo.
That's what we like to hear.
Years ago.
I don't think anybody really ever said it.
Yeah, of course they did.
It sounds like something that was just made up for like a 50s sitcom kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, from stuff they used to say in the 40s.
Possibly, yeah.
You all right?
Not too shabby, mate. This is really not relevant, but Roscoe was laying on my chest yesterday and he scratched my chest bit when he's jumped up, and because the weather's got a little bit hot today, if I get a little bit sweaty, it's really irritable and annoying. So I had to get some aloe vera or whatever it is where you just put it on your chest just to calm it down, but it was really annoying. That's as bad as it's been this week, mate. So I can't complain.
No, first world problems. My dog scratched.
I'll tell you what, though, I have got something to complain about.
Oh, good. That's what we're here for.
Well, no, it is. This is actually what we're here for. After your positive wording, Dan, I went and watched Brave New World, Captain America, Brave New World on Sunday.
Right. I'll be honest, mate. I did not say it was positive. I gave you no positive inclinations. But I am curious, though, Callum, as to what you thought about it.
It is not shit.
But was my assessment correct?
I would say it. So basically, on the message, Dan didn't spoil anything. He just went, "I've watched it. It's basically similar, thematic and stuff to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it kind of doesn't go any further above that bar." If I remember, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact wording.
In essence, yeah. There's it feels very jumpy. It's just sort of here's a new character and here's a new character and here's a new character. Oh, and then it's just a big fight, end.
Yeah.
And it just didn't. There wasn't any substance to it. It felt like a filler episode of a show or a series, a Disney series, before they get to the big cool thing.
Yeah.
And it was just 2 hours that just felt like filler. Which
I do agree. However, I think it was better than the show. But that could be the pacing of it, where we've had 8 hour, maybe a little bit longer episodes of the show, and then just 2 hours of this. Maybe the pacing was a little bit faster in that respect. But
maybe it
wasn't awful.
He's got a Captain America base. Don't know where that is. The guy from the show is working with him now as the new Falcon, which is great. The vibranium wings, spoilers, by the way. Sort of absorbing stuff and then exploding off like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. He does the sort of flip spin thing that cuts a car in half or something.
But he has done that in some of the Avengers films as well.
But that's my point. We're just sort of rehashing some classic moves.
That's all he's got, mate.
But again, it's the shield stuff just doesn't make any sense. Because Cap can use and retrieve that shield. He's a super soldier, super speed, super reflexes, whatever. And I know that he's been practicing because he's thrown it at a couple of trees. But to do some of the stuff that he can do, I'm just sort of like, if you said you got like a big magnet thing that was in it controlling it or something, I'd believe that a little bit more. But I'm not super keen on the villain of this. I can't remember his name now, but he was Buster Scruggs, and he's a great actor. I love the guy.
It's from the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he had the sort of like Tim Roth Abomination serum like dripped into a cut on his head, and then his brain sort of went blub, 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 blub. And then they haven't done anything with that for 20 years, and then this is what they went with. And like, the kind of the mind control thing, cool, but not really. Like he seems just like, I can control the world or whatever, and then he's just dispatched very quickly. And it doesn't really seem like any bigger threat. The thing is that any of these solo ones, though, it'll always come back to, well, there's a handful of people who'd be far better suited to deal with this guy than you. Call a couple of mates, and you'd wipe the floor with him. There's no big threat here, other than the fact that you're just a guy with wings, and that's it. And then it's just like, okay, well, I've been poisoning the president for like 20 years or whatever. Have you? Okay.
Well, they never explained it, because obviously the reasoning was that there was something wrong with his heart, and
they covered that in Civil War, because like when he's talking to Rhodey, I think he's just like, after I had a heart attack. No, it's when he's briefing the Avengers, I think. Like, it's like he's like all the shit that you've caused, and I had a heart attack. So they've already said that, this guy his heart's not great. So he's got this guy digging up and doing like secret research for him, Zola style, basically.
Yeah.
For Hydra. And he's made some pills that will keep his heart going, presumably. But he's like infected it with like gamma poisoning. And then now when he gets angry, he sort of sets on fire a little bit. Again, it's so sort of like, we just need to get to the big red guy.
Yeah.
And
especially it was in the trailer as well.
I know, but it's all very hand wavy. A lot of this in terms of any kind of build up to it. It's just sort of like, right, remember that thing in the Internals? Well, that we're doing something with that now. Remember the guy from that? Like, it's just sort of like, right, okay, what haven't we explained away? What's an open thread that we can just use now to pull something together at the last second? There's no Thunderbolts in it. There's no talk of that team. There's no build up towards that film as to why he would be in it. If he's not, then what was the fucking point of having him?
Yeah.
You could have just introduced him in this, had Sam and him at odds. It's him, working as Captain America and working for the government and trying to do good things. And then it kind of goes back to what Civil War was about, and the registration, keeping control. It's like, no, you don't get to go off grid. I tell you what to do. And Sam's like, do you know what? Actually, it's a stupid idea. And now that I'm in charge, fuck that. And then there's like a new Black Widow who I just don't care about. It's just sort of like, there's the Black Widow, and then there's her sister. Here's another one. And it's just like, okay, well, we don't need one or the other. You don't need two. I know one's dead, but fucking hell.
Yeah, but Yelena's still about, and obviously that would tie it in with the Thunderbolts a little bit. She's unlikely to want to enlist or anything, but
yeah, the only thing that I actually really quite enjoyed was the Isaiah Bradley stuff. And like having him back in, and he's going to sort of like train the new Falcon a little bit, so you've kind of got like the Cap mentor kind of thing going on. And he's gone through this whole redemption thing where, he was penalised by the government, and he was, experimented on for decades and decades, and he's out, and then they just go brainwash him and make him try and shoot the president.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about it. It all just feels very sort of like, there wasn't any surprise in it.
No, not at all.
I just didn't feel anything out of it. Just sort of like, okay, well, I watched it, but it's not even like, it's not worth watching for the big thing. Like, there's a bit of a scrap at the end, and then that's pretty much it.
But he also, Sam stops that bar, like when Hulk grabs it's like a massive steel bar of something, and he goes to throw it at the army people, and Sam stops it. How?
Yeah.
Like, I can get all the stuff he's doing with the wings and stuff, and he's like cutting him and using the tech and stuff that he's got. But he can't take a punch, and he shouldn't be able to stop anything. He should just move out of the way. It would have been better if he'd have flown in and pushed the people out of the way so that it didn't hit them. That would have been more believable for me.
Yeah. But then he's like, he's shooting him. He's like shooting bullets at him. He's like, mate, a Hulk isn't a new thing for you. You know how it works. What's the point? What do you think you... Yeah, you know you're not going to be able to get anything. The best you should be able to do is, and if this one is just pure rage, it should have been, you hold him off. I'll have to call in someone to come in and you know, that would have been a great little Bucky thing, rather than he just shows up in a suit for 30 seconds, goes, see you, bud, and then fucks off again. It just feels like they just didn't really have any high expectations or hopes that this is going to push the Captain America story forward. I don't feel that, you know, Sam's earned the place any more than he did during the show. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no.
it feels like a wasted opportunity.
From the whole feel of the film and the promotional stuff leading up to the release of the film, it's like everything was. Do you remember how good Winter Soldier was?
Amazing.
Yeah.
To this day, it's amazing. Yeah.
I still think I watched it again recently, a couple of weeks ago. It's still definitely. It swaps sometimes between that first and second place, but it's my favourite MCU film. I love it. But a lot of the talk of this was we've like kind of tried to emulate the feel, so it's more espionage and whatnot. It's like, it's nothing like Winter Soldier. Like, no. That film's too good. But it would have made more sense, and obviously Disney loves. Well, and Marvel, they love this thing where they go, here's this character, do you remember them from this thing? Why don't they just bring Abomination? Because you're obviously not going to get Banner in. Let's get Abomination in. He's reformed. Get him to fight the Red Hulk. Get She-Hulk.
Yeah. Give her a reprieve, maybe.
Yeah. Like, all these things that you could do that not necessarily would make the film as a whole better, but that fight that shouldn't have happened between Red Hulk and Captain America, it shouldn't have happened, simple as that, because even Steve Rogers couldn't take on the Hulk, and he's a super soldier.
Yeah, I mean, Thor, you know, a god.
Thor.
Incredible strength, power of the gods, blah, 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 you know, he's beating him, but usually, you know, it's great personal exhaustion.
Yeah.
He's kicked the shit out of him to get him there, but eventually you can go up against him.
Yeah.
But that's usually against a Hulk that's a bit childlike, but, you know, it's probably holding back a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, it's not trying to kill him. And then if you look at like the Hulk from Age of Ultron that's been like mind controlled by Wanda, he's just an absolute fucking furious machine. That's the sort of Hulk that I would have expected. Is just going absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Because you gamma poison this guy so he turns into a Hulk, and then why don't you mind control him as well? Can you not do that? Does he not have enough of a mind? Because then you could just aim him in a certain direction.
I mean, I don't think the leader that we got to see in this is the same caliber. It does very much seem like more of a Baron Zemo behind the scenes Wizard of Oz style, bit like orchestrating things. But he's also managed to do all of this for years and years and years. He's been doing his thing. He couldn't predict that an Avenger would pop up at some point, and he's got like a backup plan to that. And I suppose to a degree, Red Hulk is that backup plan. But how did he know what was going to happen?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, it would have made more sense, if he'd finally managed to get his daughter. So, well done to Liv Tyler for
coming back.
Another 30 seconds show up in that. Get them together, have this reunion. So clearly they probably haven't spoken since the Incredible Hulk. Get her in, and then get him to change with her in the room, so that he's losing control, and he's going to kill his own daughter, because that's the revenge and the retribution that you want against him. And it's again, it's sort of like you've been feeding him Hulk stuff, over however long, and now it's enough that when he gets angry, like this is a guy who's clearly got a bit of a temper anyway.
Yeah.
And he's going through one of the most stressful things, which is a presidential election campaign. And yet the first time he actually transforms is right when there's someone there. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of that. Like, if we'd have seen him just getting angrier and angrier through the films again. Because this is the thing. That's the part of it that I think that they've lost. It's the slow build. It's the, it's the fluff. You're fluffing the audience. So, he's getting a bit angry and he's getting a bit angrier. And he's taking pills and he's taking pills and he's been doing that for years. And you see him in all the films when he's popping a pill and he's getting more and more annoyed. And then this is when it finally spills over, and that's when he has his Deadpool mutate thing, and that's when he finally changes. But it just seems a bit. It's just all very convenient, and the only reason that fucking Celestial shows up is so that they can go. Adamantium. That's it. That's done. Tick. That's the introduction of an element that's now going to make up the X-Men.
How are they going to mine it?
With vibranium drills, I guess, or something.
But can vibranium break adamantium?
Well, who knows? I mean, presumably you just break the rock around it, and then it just falls in a big chunk.
I suppose, yeah. And then you just take that chunk and do whatever with it.
Yeah, I do like the fact though that it was in the Indian Ocean that this thing popped out. So I'm not a geographer, so I really don't know. But the fact that there's India, the fact that there's India and Japan in this sort of like contesting for rights of who gets access to this thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense. If it's located between sort of like India and Japan, and it's sort of in shared waters maybe because of the size. What the fuck's America? Why are they getting involved?
I assume, as in the real life, they
just go, that looks like an interesting and cool thing, so we want a part of it as well, even though it's got nothing to do with us, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's not as if, like, again, if it was a Celestial that was stopped by the Avengers, then you could say, it's our team that got involved and saved everybody, so we're owed something. It was stopped by the Eternals. I actively don't have an allegiance, do they?
No, I mean, no, definitely not. That was the whole point of their being and everything else. But I think, if I remember rightly, that's the main reason why he wants Sam to put the Avengers back together, so that America will go, we're the only guys that can go in and get it. That, I assume that was the ploy of it.
He just wants his own hit squad, which again would make sense if he was trying to put together a team. Sam's like, I don't know if I'm really the guy to put the Avengers together, because that's... I mean, Steve didn't do that for a start.
No.
Fury did.
Fury.
So, there's no new Shield that's, kind of stepping up. There's no...
I mean, maybe if the president took his own nickname and made a team from that.
That's exactly my point, though, mate. Is that if he says, we desperately need this team, and then the only team that he's now capable of putting together, because obviously he's probably been removed from office and whatever because he's a giant Hulk monster, is these misfits, and he's pulled in a few favours, and that they can go and do some good somewhere under the radar, maybe. I don't know. It just didn't seem like the performance of Harrison Ford. It seems like he's come back to life again. Like he just seemed to
be enjoying himself.
Really bored and depressed through all of his movies, and then when he came back and did Han Solo for Force Awakens, he had like a spirit and a spring in his step.
Yeah.
And he's good in this, but I can't get past. I can't remember the actor's name, so I'm so sorry. The guy who died, who played Ross originally. Yeah. Because he's been in it since fucking day dot, basically. Because Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk came out in the same year, like 2007 or 8, I think. He's been in it since then.
Yeah.
And it's
Incredible
Hulk
first, and then
yeah, but it's just disappointing that he didn't get to have that moment, because I don't know. I got no issue with recasting. I don't think it should just go right. We'll never touch this character again out of memory for the actor. And I think he's done a good job. And if he'd have been him from the get go, I don't think you'd even notice. But not having the moustache and, going, well, you can't have a president that's got a moustache or whatever. That's a reasonable explanation, sure.
They tried to explain it out with a joke, similar to the Mario movie where Chris he's doing the, hey, it's a Mario, like for the advert. And then they make a joke about him, like not talking like that in real life. And you get over it then because it's Chris Pratt. And it works because it addresses that criticism that people have. But the not having a mustache wasn't the biggest problem with the film. So like they needed to address a lot more than just that. And
it just feels
bad,
for a new Captain America, it feels like he's been shortchanged, honestly. And I don't know if it's just because they didn't want to give it a huge amount of money. Because again, if the Thunderbolts is out this year, Fantastic Four's out this year, I have a terrible feeling that they've just sort of released this to keep something on the slate, but all of their time and effort and money is going into something like Fantastic Four because they're saying, we've got this one back, we have to make it work. We did it with Homecoming, we got Spider-Man back, and then we knocked it out of the park. We have to do it with this as well. So maybe the B team, C team, you get a minimal budget and off you pop. I'm going to say that, Callum, and I'm going to look at the budget for this, and I'm going to be terribly depressed because I'm going to be so wrong.
I reckon it's pretty high. I'm going to wager somebody is quite high. Harrison Ford being in it alone is going to bump it up.
Well, that's true. It's got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, which...
It's better than that. I'd go 52.
Should we see if there's... Is it on IMDb? They usually put stuff like that on here.
Normally, if you just go on Wikipedia.
Well, that's what I was looking for, but there is no... Oh, fucking hell, it's there, idiot. Oh, no, this is... That's just the Captain America Wikipedia page.
It cost 180 million, and it is reportedly earned 177 in
Unfortunately,
North America.
Feel every dollar of that.
No. And 372 million worldwide.
Yikes.
So it's made money.
Yeah, but not... the thing is, though, is that the more sort of filler episodes, in essence, that you do like this, the more you disenfranchise people from coming back and going, the last one wasn't very good, and the one before that wasn't very good, so maybe I won't go and bother seeing any more at the cinema. I'll just wait until it's on Disney Plus eventually.
I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts, very much so.
That I think will be a bit more of a romp and a bit more fun. And I think the Fantastic Four is probably the only one I will go and see in the cinema again. I think that's the only one I'm actually like, how are you going to do this? Is this going to work? And I swear to God, if it's all 60s, big battle with Galactus, and then here comes the TVA, hey, do you want to come and help out here? I'll be so disappointed. If Reed doesn't invent some stupid machine that explodes and blows him into another dimension, I'm going to be well annoyed.
I do feel there's every possibility it could go one of either of those ways. And I think they're going to rush to get them into the Earth 616 or whatever the universe is.
I would rather that they do Fantastic Four and X-Men together before they then have
merging everything over,
crossover, and then it's X-Men and a bit. So give them time to build up the Avengers again. So you got your Thunderbolt stuff, but you need Ironheart presumably to be the new Iron Man. Just fill out those roles rather than just having like the Thunderbolts is just a bunch of people who can punch each other.
Do you think it's going to be the same universe though? So because obviously we already know there's an X-Men universe because of the Marvels. So do you think that's the universe, or do you think that's a different one as well?
Because that would be quite good if it was just sort of like, this is the 60s of that universe. And then, imagine that, you go and watch the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are just knocking about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They just already exist in there. What an absolute surprise that would be for everybody if it's just like, oh, and here's Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's Storm and Wolverine, and they're just on the news or whatever. Not like a big sort of team-up cool thing, but it's just like, they're flying over Westchester, and it's just the standard X-Men mansion or whatever. There's all the Blackbird, whatever it is.
Blackbird.
That's dispatched to help take out Galactus or something. Like, what? Because you just wouldn't be expecting it. Exactly. Like that bad boy showing up and just a bunch of new X-Men jumping out of it. Oh my God. It would be such a bait and switch.
But even something like really just boring and mundane, like Hank showing up with something and he's like, thanks for letting me borrow this, or like something sciencey, and just like gives it back and then fucks off. And then you see the blackbird fly away after he's got back in it or something like that. They say it hasn't got to be a big deal. It's just, yeah, they exist. They're here. Maybe some other heroes and stuff that we haven't had the chance to see together. Maybe even fucking well, maybe not Daredevil, because that's in this universe. So
yes, it is currently, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, though, Callum.
Yes.
The Daredevil Born Again, which is probably the only show that I've been really keen on getting to. Because you know my philosophy on the whole weekly thing has changed somewhat. And I will let things build up a bit before I watch them all in one big go. Haven't been able to do that with Daredevil, mate. I know we're only 4 in, but I've watched every fucking one of them.
But it's a good job because it seems to be on everyone's spoiler. I'm just going to tell everybody what happened in this week's episode kind of thing. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram or X or something. So it's a good job, really, because it would have been spoiled by now. I think you'd be way more angry.
I don't know. I haven't had anything spoiled. I mean, I'm very careful with what I sort of click on, or things that I actively go, no, I'm not interested in that. So it doesn't sort of feed me that sort of stuff. So I don't know what could have been spoiled, other than like what happens in the first episode, maybe. Yeah. That's a pretty big thing. And like, not really a spoiler necessarily, but in the latest episode that's come out this week, have you seen that one?
I have indeed.
So, obviously, as the trailers have already shown, Frank Castle is back in as the Punisher as well, and we discussed this. You know, he could be writing it from the start. He may just pop in once. You know, he may just sort of have to do something, have something to do with it. You know, in a last stand attempt of some battle that Matt's in, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But I didn't know when he was going to show up. But I knew he was going to show up in this episode because he's on the fucking thumbnail as soon as you go on Disney. And I was like, okay, well, I guess here's Frank then, yeah?
Honestly, when you were on about, like, I don't like nothing's really been spoiled for me so far. I was going to wait for you to finish and just go, Disney Plus spoiled it for me today when I watched it.
I mean, it's not as if it said,
yesterday,
oh my God, and then Frank shows up and shoots 50 people, like in the description or whatever, but it's like, oh, there's his face. Well, okay, well, here he is, I guess.
I would have preferred it if the thumbnails was just the cover.
Yeah, rather than, here's the big cameo. Like, what if the next week it's fucking Jen, like from She-Hulk?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, guess who's in this episode? Bang.
But we finally got him, though. He's in.
I really liked that episode, mate. After I watched that, I went back and watched season 2, episode 3 of Daredevil, which is when just after he's beat Matt and tied him up on the roof, and they're having their kind of like big conversation about who's right, who's wrong, morality, all that kind of stuff. And I really like him. I do, mate. I think he's really good, and I think that he still needs to do some more punishing, quite frankly, but. He looks great. I don't really get the sort of the long hair. I know he's sort of letting himself go a bit, but he's still a military man. You know,
we've had this talk before, though, haven't we? With stuff where the easiest way to show that there's been a significant piece of like there's been like give him a beard, let the hair grow, put him in like dirty clothes and stuff, and then you automatically go, it's been a few years since he's washed.
That's very true. One thing that I don't get, though, is that when he goes... I love his little war room, by the way. He's just sort of like in the sort of manager's office of some random...
Yes, like general manager thing.
Because I thought he was just going to be working there. I thought that's the thing. You know, this is him trying to get by. You know, he's hung up the guns and the body armour, and, you know, this is the only job that he's either wanting to do or capable of doing or whatever. You know, it's the quiet life. And then when Matt goes in and there's just guns everywhere, he's like, oh no, this is his war room. Yeah, he's not even locked the door. It's just like if you happen to live in that building, you go and visit the manager, you very quickly back the fuck back out of it again. But that means that he's still doing his job. He's still going around punishing, but when they're interviewing people on the streets, it's like, oh God, bring back Daredevil. Where's the Daredevil gone? Oh my God, everything was so much better with Daredevil around. Also, how on earth could you still have the Avengers and New York is falling apart?
Oh, man, we haven't, though, have we?
There's still people doing their job, though.
I mean, there's still ones alive and stuff. The Avengers is disbanded.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of them that are all based. Surely they still live around New York, right?
I mean, where's Spider-Man?
New York. Where's
That's
Doctor
what I'm
Strange?
saying.
New York. And they all fall. They just locked themselves away so that they can do their own particular adventures. It's weird that they're just letting New York, where the Avengers is based, and everything just go to shit.
It will be a really short series, though. They go, the crime's gone up. Nah, Vision sorted it. Don't worry.
Dead Vision sorted it.
Matt can see again.
Yeah. But I do get the sense that he's like the fact that he's sort of a bit cut up and a bit bloody means that he's still out and doing it. He's just not getting anywhere by the looks of it. He's the whole point of it is that you put enough criminals in the ground and there is no more crime anymore. And it looks like it's overwhelmed him. It's like he can't keep up with the flood anymore.
I got a very similar feeling from there that I think this exchange is probably the best in most of the MCU, or just the exchange between these two characters in this episode was really good.
There was emotion.
But it was like, as you brought up I can't remember what the episode number was, but when they're on the roof in season 2 of Daredevil, and it's kind of like they've swapped sides, where Frank's realizing I put 10 in the ground and then 20 more come, and it's that this isn't ever going to stop. And then Matt on the kind of like on the fence of, should I kill these people to stop them from just coming out of prison and just committing crimes and murders and stuff again? And it's two people still trying to stand with their own ideologies, but like as Frank puts it, you're not here to ask. What I can't remember the phrase now. He's like,
I love that line as well. It's like you're not here for help. You're here to ask for permission.
Yeah.
Like you want to go back out there. You want to, you don't think you're doing enough, or there is too much injustice now. And now even when you've given up the tights and you're working the system, and the system has failed you because you did what you should, you did what was right, you proved the man was innocent, and then he was killed anyway. And you believe it was the police, and you want the permission from me, a maniac, to go out there, put the suit back on, and kick the shit out of people because that's the right thing to do. And I like the fact that he's not like, let's team up and let's just crack the fuck on. It's just like, nah, be honest with yourself before you think about doing something like this. Because you're right, he might have turned a corner. Like, he seems like he's a lot more angry. And he's probably because I reckon that's the thing. When you're so used to beating the shit out of people on a daily basis, that's probably quite a good stress reliever. And, he's getting laid now, but he probably hasn't punched anybody in the face for like a year.
I mean, episode 2.
No, but that's a year since episode 1.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So when after episode 1, he's like, okay, well, I'm done with this now. Forget this. And then that's the first time and I do like the fact that Frank gets right in his face and he just backhands him and pushes him off, and he's like, ah. Yeah. He's just like, it's so close to the surface, and Frank knows that he's just got to he just pokes him a little bit. That's all he needs to bring him back up. And you can see he's doubting himself because he goes back to his place and he's opening up his little trapdoor and he's got all of his cool masks in there.
Who built that?
He did, obviously. From Blind Kia. Like, he can probably see better than you can, mate. He'd be fine. The only thing he wouldn't be able to do is if the instructions weren't in Braille, he wouldn't be able to read the paper.
He'd figure it out. It's like
that's true.
Building this secret room and it just turns into like a Billy bookcase or something. But we're getting a lot of these kind of polar opposites where no, that's completely wrong. It's not polar opposite, but like we're seeing what Fisk's going through, and he's turning over a new leaf, and he's a changed, reformed man. Wink, wink. But we're seeing the same thing for Matt, and I know we're only on episode 4, but as we're going through it, they're both kind of going through the same inner turmoil for very, very different reasons. But it is an interesting theme, and I think if it hadn't been so good from 1 through to 4, and we hadn't had the kind of exchanges that we've had with with Frank and Matt and Fisk and some of the others, like side stories that are going on. I haven't missed him not getting in the suit, and I thought I would have.
I'm not sort of like, because I'm not really the biggest fan of this more modern trope of, every episode's got to be a fight. It's got to be a fight in every episode. Someone needs to get shot in the face in every episode, and you can do more than just people punching each other. And probably the first episode is the only remnant of that sort of like,
big
dramatic fight.
Yeah, but they had to, didn't they?
It's quite quick, but it seems like it's that's the carry on from the Netflix show, and it's like, we kind of want to do this. Bang, here's a twist, and then now he's just going to be a standard lawyer, and that's it. No more Daredevil.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good sort of introduction. A really good way to say that's what you're used to, and this is what we're going to do instead, and we're just turning that off. No more tights, or well, at least so far. No more tights. And I think you're right. I haven't missed it. I like the fact that he's the only sort of like fights that we've had are just, it's out of necessity rather than he's going out and trying to find it. He's not.
They were going to kill him
on the streets or whatever.
And that's. I think that does help. It's a bit annoying that we had this kind of build up for White Tiger, didn't get to see him do anything. I know, unfortunately, in real life, the actor passed away, but
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The last episode was like, if you go back and watch it, it's the start. It's like in loving memory of. And I apologize, I can't remember his name.
Oh, that's who.
Yeah, he had. I'm not sure
that.
what, but he had cancer. Whilst filming, but so maybe they had plans.
Maybe there was something
to do it, but obviously his niece has got the amulet now. And
I was literally just going to say, if the power stems from an amulet,
I don't think it'll be this season.
Thing? Is it all?
But the White Tiger that I'm familiar with is from Spectacular Spider-Man TV show, animated show, and White Tiger and that is a girl, which I assume is his niece.
What they're going to do, yeah.
But again, she's like 17, 18 in that. So she's got a few years to go in this. Or she's a really short 18-year-old. But even her acting, she was a very good little actor.
Yeah, that was really good.
Again, great exchange with Matt and her. I know it's very comic accurate and stuff, but it still makes me a bit weird with how much women flirt with Matt. And that's not a same thing like he's blind. People should never look at blind people. But it's like, do you think he knows? No, but that's what I mean. Do you think he knows he's a handsome man? Because he's never seen himself as an adult.
No, I think, but you can tell. Like, if someone's saying, "Oh God, you're handsome," and they're not lying.
I suppose, he can tell that.
Surely that's all the confirmation you need. But I do like the fact that I love that in the last episode again. Some absolutely cracking bits in this, and it's not just because it's explosions and cool and lasers or whatever. He sits down with this guy and he's like, "How fucking dare you? You don't have I've just got you 10 days less in jail or whatever. Like, do you have any idea how grateful you should be?" And this guy's just like, "Do you have any idea what I have to go through, and you think that I owe you something?" And he just shuts him right down. He's like, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, it's a shitty system. But that's the thing. It's like, even when he's just like, I'm here to protect you. I'm here doing my job, and I'm doing you the best I can. And then how dare you say that that's not enough? And he's saying, well, no, it's not enough because I've got to go back on the street and I can't afford. And then you can see it in his head. He's sort of like, am I doing... the point of me putting away the mask was so that I could do more good. But am I?
I don't think I can do more as a lawyer.
Other than going around and beating people up instead, maybe, yeah.
I did find it convenient. I will say this was my major gripe with this episode. So he does his Batman detective vision to find the bullet that killed White Tiger because the police... couldn't do it. That's
very convenient that it just... sure, whatever.
Yeah, it just happened to be... There was a bottle there. He happened to be able to use that to see where it rolled and then to find the bullet in the drain bit. First thing he picks up as well. There's no rats or cans or anything in there.
Pennywise.
And then Yeah, just a blue.
That would have shit him off. Someone grabbed his arm as he was putting his hand in there.
But no, on top of all of that, just really lucky situational like detective skills. The logo is embossed, so he can make out what it is.
Yeah, I imagine that's like a printing thing when you're making the bullet, though.
I just thought it'd be someone with a Sharpie.
I'm not a firearms.
I'm
not a firearms guy, but having something embedded into the casing, would that not increase the chance of like the misfire or the cartridge not coming out properly or something?
Not to do like a crude image, but you'd have the barrel of the gun, and then there's a bullet that's designed specifically for that.
Well, no, it's not the bullet; it's the case.
Well, but it's if you did a square one, it's not going to fit, is it? And then the actual emboss bit, that's going to be raised higher.
Well, no, it would be in, not out.
Oh, I thought it was sticking up.
No, I think it was going in, like into the actual brass.
Oh, right. Then I take it back then.
Yeah, if it was out, that would be silly because it just feels like it would catch on the casing or the magazine.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But I thought, because when he knocked that bottle over, I thought he was using... So he was like, right, we're on a hill, the shot came from here, and he knocked the bottle down so it would make noise, and he would be able to sort of like echolocate if there's any sort of metal things for the sound to ping off. Because I was like, oh, that's really clever. And then it's just like, he just rolled down and then just went in a drain. He's like, oh, there it is. That I was sort of like, oh, that I didn't see that going the way that it did. Okay, that's fine. But they're doing a lot more sort of, he's smelling things, he's hearing things, they're very sort of like, he's listening to things, he can hear stuff going on outside, he can hear through walls and whatever. And like, this cop who was beat the shit out of him. And I love the fact he's just like, maybe, some of my friends aren't happy with you. He's like, yeah, we'll bring more next time then.
Yeah, you need to bring more.
2 wasn't enough. I put you on your fucking arse and I broke your mate's arm. Like, bring 6 more, and actually give you a workout.
I still don't like, because it's kind of like a threat where it's like, where he's, it's not kind of, it is. It's like, I don't like the bar association aren't going to be happy that you've beat up police officers and stuff. But who's going to, like, me and 2 of my mates went to shoot a guy.
Kill this witness.
And then this blind lawyer nearly killed us. Going, sure he did.
Yeah, of course he did, yeah.
Matt's just there trying to find a sandwich. But it's like, it's not the kind of threat that, it doesn't seem like it would go anywhere.
But I think it's just people threatening to like, right, okay, well, clearly you're not going to do that. But, if you threaten me with a fake threat, then, yeah, sure, bring 60 mates around, I'll batter all of them as well.
Yeah.
Like, neither of them are going to do... There will be another confrontation, presumably.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That guy is... What was going on with the guy draining people's blood, though? What the fuck was all that about?
That's Muse. So, in like, Muse is a serial killer. He's quite a big Daredevil villain, but he basically he murders people and then uses their blood to do paintings and stuff.
That seems a bit inefficient. You rob a blood bank, you got loads.
Nobody's died, and you got loads of different colours as well. You've got old blood. It sounds
more like he's doing
blood.
It for the murder rather than the art, to be fair.
But there are a couple of different versions of, like, there's some of them where he hasn't really got powers. He can fight, but he hasn't got powers. And then there's some where he has got superhuman abilities and stuff. But this one, I think
it's going to be like a Gen V thing, where it's like he's like hemokinesis or whatever. So he's like blood telekinesis.
I think he's just going to be a serial killer. I'll be honest.
But that's fine because, like, with like
I'm fine with that.
Kind of thing,
it's not an issue.
It's just sort of you don't need to just be. It's all mad powers and ninjas and stuff. Sometimes you can just be a nut job and you end up crossing paths with the wrong guy. He will beat the living shit out of you when he finds you.
I think that helps, though.
He calls Frank and just be like, this one I can't deal with.
I don't like blood.
Beat him up. I can't take him to prison because he's probably going to be like the fucking mayor's son or something. Oh, it's not Fisk's son, but you know what I mean. He'll be like someone who'll be like, oh, the second you put him in prison, he's going to get straight back out.
Yeah.
Frank, I've got him. I'm just going to leave the room. If he happens to get shot in the face while I'm out, I can't do anything about that. And I've got
keys under the mat though if you need it. But that's no different than like in Batman with Liam Neeson and his Rage. He's like, kill me. He's like, I'd have to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And then just flies away. And it's no different to that. Like, Matt knows it could happen, but it might not happen. Mm-hmm. As long as he never goes back to the room, he never has to know.
Schrodinger's Punisher.
Yeah. But Frank was a lot less angry about the police thing than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, well, the fact it's just like, oh, fucking copycats.
Yeah, and that was it.
But that's the thing. I think that the way I was thinking of it originally was that, you know, he would get really pissed off. But that's sort of like, he's litigious because someone's using his logo and he's like, oh, I've got a fucking trademark on that.
I don't think it was that, though, like, is it? It's the
No, that's the thing. It seems like it'd be more a case of, you know, but that's the thing. It's not the symbol that he cares about. It's not a case of like, how dare you disrespect my truth, my goal, my mission, or whatever. It's just like, fucking stupid cunts. Yeah. And that's it. But you know for a fact that if he comes across one of them, he'll shoot him in the face and he won't even think twice about it. He'll be like, I don't care. You're not my fans. Like, you're just a bunch of fucking idiots that are using my logo for your own stupid maniac ends.
Well, that's how they
when
do
I've
it.
got my own stupid maniacal things to do.
I'm hearing things all the time.
All these bikers to death.
I love that line where he's like you can, when they're talking about Foggy, and he's like, you can hear him, Red. He's talking to you, even though he's not here.
Oh my god, yeah, I was genuinely just sort of like, oh my god, the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. Like,
I hear my little boy every time I stop moving.
Yeah,
it's like,
I can just feel the tears in Matt's. Yeah, this show.
He had some great lines for that though, because when he's like with Bullseye and Frank and Matt's like, just the justice system. He's like, he got life. He's like, what up, Foggy? Did Foggy get life? He's like, you.
Yeah,
it's such a good attraction.
Just poking him just right.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that we'll get? We've only got a couple of recurring sort of like, you know, Netflix characters. So obviously Frank, obviously Matt. Now we had Karen for a bit. We had Foggy for a bit.
Yeah. I'd say less than a bit for Foggy, but yes.
Well, yeah. We've had Fisk, we've had Vanessa. Do you reckon that maybe we will get Jen? I mean, do you think that Jen would come back? Would Rosario Dawson come back? Would we get Jess Jones or Luke Cage or Iron Fist? Do you reckon that we'd get any of those that would come across as well? Or do you reckon they'll just keep it to these core guys and that's it?
I would say if at the others, at the most, Jessica Jones. Because Luke Cage wasn't the most well-received show. Iron Fist definitely wasn't. But Jessica Jones was, along with Daredevil. So if we was going to see another one, we might see Jess. But I don't think we will.
What about, like,
Jen, potentially?
Echo?
I mean, that makes sense because of the Bullseye, because of the Kingpin connection as well.
Like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop.
Thing.
You know, they've got tenuous links to each other.
So I could see stuff like that, and maybe Jen. Like, I did say a thing where she said she would appear if they asked her to, but that's also could be the Andrew Garfield thing. Because like, I haven't even been asked. But they've already filmed it. But there's quite a funny interview from No Way Home with Andrew Garfield, and because they're friends, Charlie Cox and Andrew Garfield are in real life. And he didn't know that Charlie Cox was in No Way Home. And Charlie Cox told him. And he's like, you're not in my script. And he's like, well, I'm in my script, so we're definitely in it. And he was like, I'm in New York or LA or whatever. Should we have lunch? And then they went to lunch together. But as they were getting to the restaurant, Andrew Garfield's like, this is going to look, if anybody sees us, this is going to spoil. So they went in separately and then sat at a wall. Like, so they was on the same thing, but they were just facing the wall while they had the dinner.
That's commitment to the craft, that is, by just saying, look, you know, oh my God, does that mean you're doing something together? Like, no, we're just two blokes going for dinner. Yeah. Don't read into it. But
then it would
be. The fact that they've taken the extra effort to be like, you go around the back, I'll go in the front, and that way no one will... If anything, they'll think you're having some sort of affair. Not that you're talking
potentially,
about...
it could be worse. Well, then again, what's worse, being a cheat, like, as people think that you're an adulterer or that Disney know that you'd let slip something.
Ooh, yeah. They'll send that Feige robot around to crush your balls.
Have them Punisher bullets. But it's Mickey Mouse instead of the Punisher logo. But yeah, they used to be flatmates or something. Them two and somebody else that I can't remember. They were all flatmates together. So
Yeah,
that was it for that relation. But no, I think we'll see Jen or Echo. I think they're good shouts because they're still relevant with the new universe. Yeah, whereas the old Defenders, I don't think we will. And I think we'll get a new Iron Fist anyway.
Well, hopefully it's what was her name? The woman, Colleen.
Well, she's Iron Fist at the end, isn't she? So,
but that's what I mean. I'd rather that she comes back than Danny Rand does.
I did not care for
or unless
show.
they get the same fella that did, I can't remember his name now, but the guy who was actually have him in it and go, oh my god, it's Iron Fist, and then Shang-Chi can just show up and just beat the living shit out of him. That's from all of us.
That would be pretty funny. You'd have that, and then we'll have Thingy from Iron Man 3. Oh god, I can't remember his name. Because we had fake Mandarin.
Oh, Ben Kingsley.
And then you had, but then you had Thingy, who was the other villain. Pierce.
Guy Pearce, not Guy Pearce.
Yeah, I think it is Guy Pearce, isn't it? I'm sure it's Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Aldrich Killian.
Yeah.
Killian. Yeah.
But obviously he's like, I am the Mandarin. But then we have Shang-Chi's dad show up and he batters him.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of him as well. Anyone else? Anyone else trying to rip me off? Anyone else? That guy from Iron Man 1 with the 10 rings. Do you want to come at me as well? Come on.
As I said, we haven't heard anything about Shang-Chi 2. I don't know what it's going to be called.
I don't. Again, they're sort of they're just doing this at this point. They haven't locked onto a thing, and I think that probably Fantastic Four is probably going to be that new thing because that will be setting up Doom to some degree.
Well, the Russo brothers are already coming back, aren't they?
But that's the thing. That's what's really unfortunate though is that they've done such a good job with a lot of these that you've got to keep on depending on the same couple of people. Like, there's so many people that are involved in the process of making all this sort of stuff, and they go, "It's on you. Like, you're the only ones that can apparently keep all this stuff on track, or you've got some bigger guidance."
Good for them, though.
It is, because they can just go, "Here's a blank fucking check, and we will charge you whatever you want, and we'll come back and we'll make you one that will get all the money back in." I'm hoping that we get another 4, 5. I don't think we'll get a 6th. I don't think this will be a 10 episode.
I can't remember. It was said because it's split. So we've got these ones.
Oh, yeah, you said this the other day. It's there's some this year, then some next year, I think, or something like that.
Or later in the year.
What absolute bullshit cliffhanger are they going to leave us on? Ben Affleck's going to show up in a red spandex suit and then tune in next year and oh, what?
If that was I'd be happy with that cliffhanger, Dan, I'll be honest.
Fuck that.
That's the most unrealistic
If they
thing
couldn't
ever.
get him in for Deadpool and Wolverine, they're not going to get him into this.
But no, it's good. I'm very, very much enjoying it.
Agreed.
But also what I've enjoyed, Dan, Invincible Season 3.
This season has absolutely blown my tits off. This is some of the best stuff. It's been so good. Like, this whole stuff with Conquest over the last 1 or 2. God damn.
I didn't realise till somebody pointed out the other day as well with Conquest. Obviously, it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Mm-hmm. It's a rematch from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. Too bad he doesn't have a big bat that he can swing at him as well.
That would have been a great little reference, though.
Yeah.
Excellent season, though, Dan.
Oh, man alive. Because I was watching... Because I started to catch back up again. I had like 4 or 5, I think, that I could get through in one go. And ended up staying up till about 2, watching them all.
Yeah.
And I don't have the vernacular in me at this point in time to kind of describe how so good it is. Like, it's just so well written and everything is paying off. Like, all these sort of, this build up and all the relationships are all starting to pay off. And then you just feel terrible for Mark Because everyone's just sort of like, who the fuck's this guy? And all these guys that have just shown up and look exactly like him, but then he's kind of fighting them. Like, the general public won't know what the fuck is going on, other than just Invincible's kind of helping us, and then there's also, he's burning the planet down. And then he's just sort of like, okay, well, you know, I'll help with the rebuild project. And then here comes the strongest Viltrumite ever. And they level cities, beating the living shit out of each other. And then he headbutts him to nearly death. And it's just like, oh my god, he's stronger than Nolan, he's stronger than anything. This is the most powerful thing we've ever seen. And he still manages to take him out. But, I mean, with the help from Eve, obviously, who sort of like fucking Phoenix Force.
Yeah, it's basically Jean Grey.
Kinda, yeah. But there's, I tell you what, there's something they actually clarified in that last one, or the one before, I think, that I'd never thought of, but which is one of the sort of like, oh, well, why don't you just do this? Like, she can't create sentient matter, so she couldn't create life or change cells or whatever. But then they're just like, oh, okay, well, there's all these mental blocks that have been put in. Jean Grey again. But I'm pretty sure that was something that they talked about in the Atom Eve special that they did.
But in season 1 of Invincible, she heals herself.
Does she?
Yeah. I even went back to look, and it's when when it's like her Rex robot and that, and they're in the street fight in I forgot what the enemy's called, but she gets stabbed, and then she like shoots this big beam, and she flies up, and she just goes and heals herself, and then carries on.
Maybe that's the same thing though, where she's saying like, you know, when I go through severe trauma, you know, like these blocks lift, so she, you know, she's been stabbed like quite badly, presumably. That extra power kicks in and she can heal herself. Maybe.
I mean, you've got to have some.
I do like the fact though that she's going back to university to study architecture. So she's like, well, you know, I can build stuff and create stuff, but I don't know how to do it properly.
But it makes sense too.
It absolutely does. It's just like, oh, okay, well, surely all these kids that have got these powers, you should be teaching them skills that are relevant to those skill sets. So, you know, Rex should be doing demolitions and explosions and chemical engineering or whatever. So you have a greater understanding of what gives you that power or what you can do with that power, I guess. But like her studying architecture, brilliant. That battle that they have, like when she jumps in to help with Conquest, and man alive, he just snapped her leg like it was fucking nothing.
I mean,
unbelievable.
That's pretty much everyone. Like Oliver, like he got bloody ripped in half.
I love the fact he was just sort of like, yeah, all right, I'll take 5 minutes and kill this kid. Yeah, don't even worry about it. I'll just rip him apart.
Do you want a cigarette, Mark? I'll be back in a minute.
But this is the thing, he's doing it on purpose to like, just like, I'm going to just antagonise you in front of the people that you hold most dear, because that's how I'm going to get the best fight out of you.
Yeah, I just want a good
fight. And then
fight.
that thing where he just pins him to the floor and he's just like, I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is fucking terrified of me. Like that whole thing wasn't some sort of like weird sinister speech, in my opinion. It was like a genuine, like, you're probably the only person that I feel actually is worth me opening up to a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'm
going
to kill you. So
I think he told him because it was like, you'll take this to your grave kind of thing. But obviously it didn't pan out that way. But it was such a good. There's not many TV shows or films for that matter where I am like edge of the seat watching.
Yeah.
Normally I'm just like bonged out just watching it. But this episode in particular was so good. Not just of Invincible, of TV. It was just an excellent end finale to a really, really good TV season.
Wait, that was the last episode?
Yeah.
Are you winding me up?
Next year now, mate.
Oh, that is some bullshit right there, Callum. I didn't know that. I'm absolutely, because I was just like, oh, I cannot wait for the next one. And now it's going to be a year.
Well, it depends. It might be January, but...
Well, what do you fucking do? It may as well be a year then.
Yeah.
God's sake.
But they have said, they put a thing out, I think I saw it yesterday, that they've already done all of the voice work and everything else is already all done. So it shouldn't take as long to come out as this season did.
Man, they are cooking with gas on this, though. Like, because I just, like, you have no idea what's going to happen either. You saw Rex get shot through the head. And then they're just like, we just used cool
Fixed
science to put him back together again. And he's basically fine, but, he's actually kind of a nice guy now. And then he's just like, I'm going to explode my own skeleton.
I will say, after X-Men 97, not the same impact.
No, that Gambit one's goddamn good. But, as a suicide thing it's just, if he's peppered in with explosions, surely it's just another explosion, a bigger one. Would it really actually do anything to him? I mean, I know that, what's-his-face, Donald's like, well, none of them are actually as strong as the one we've got. But
I think but they were very quick to get that point out, though.
Yeah, probably.
They go, well, how did Rex do it? Because Rex couldn't beat Invincible and so on and so forth. And I suppose even with that, Invincible, Mark isn't holding back. It is holding back, sorry, whereas these guys aren't.
Yeah.
Obviously, they take quite a lot of people out, but I don't know, maybe Rex's explosion was because it was him, it was an even bigger, more powerful explosion.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it was using his own body.
The when Conquest just snaps Eve's leg and then just puts his hand straight through her.
Yeah.
And then punches her in the face so hard, her face splits open. I was just like, fuck me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's definitely no coming back from that. That's two of them they just killed off in one fucking go. And then she does a Phoenix Resurrection thing and just zaps the living shit out of him. Yeah. And melts his fucking skin off and everything. He's still going. God damn, that guy's terrifying.
Even with that, though, I was saying to Zoe when we were watching it, and obviously, every single scene changed, so he was like, but when Eve's done that, and like you say, all his skin's gone, why isn't Mark just going for the organs and stuff and all the muscles and stuff?
Well, because he's been thrown around the planet.
No, but he's just punching him in the face.
I know, but he's just gotten off the back of fighting all of his own fucking doubles. And then this guy shows up the day afterwards or whatever. He's still fucking knackered.
No. I'm I know why. Obviously, he wasn't as tipped up, but Eve's done that, and then Mark jumps in, but he's just going for the face. All of this is exposed. You could just start taking stuff out.
Well, you know that Viltrumites can get split open because Nolan does that, doesn't he? He just cuts that guy's guts open.
Yeah, cuts. Yeah.
Just do that. We'll just fly through him as hard as you can.
What I mean.
Maybe he's just so big and tough and strong that you've got to use.
It's not impactful though, is it? Pinning him to the floor. He's broke both of his arms and stuff. So he's just
I love the fact that he broke his arm. He broke his leg. He broke his arm. Crunched his arm up, punching through his hand, and then headbutts him to death. I mean, goddamn, that is so fucking visceral.
And that's coming off the thing with Leavstrom as well. And then, when he goes to see Oliver, and he's just not doing it again. Anyone threatens the family, I'm just going to kill him. And then the next person he sees is Conquest. He's like, fucking hell.
I do like the fact that his mum, though, is she's been like, Oliver, you can't stop flying in the house, stop doing anything. The most terrifying, strongest guy that they've ever seen show up. She's like, yeah, go get him. You go help, child. I'm sure you could sort him out. Don't worry about it.
It's a good job he did, though. If he hadn't shown up.
He did save him, yeah. He did smack him around a couple of times. But I think it was by pure surprise that he actually managed to, do anything to him.
Yeah. I mean, I can see Oliver being... Because what I love about Invincible is, I started reading the comics before the show started. And then the second I found out it was being made, I stopped reading it. So I'd already got past the spoilers, but obviously in the show, his dad is a superhero. He's basically like the Avengers, blah blah blah, and then he kills him. I already knew all that twist, but that was the only major twist. But I assume Oliver will end up being stronger than Mark.
Well, he's growing faster then because the other.
But that seems to have stopped though, hasn't it?
It depends. It depends on how much time has actually gone past here. Because it's not as if he's it's 2 days later and he's grown another inch.
But that's what they were insinuating, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
it'd be a week is like a year kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's still a deafening no Omni-Man. I suppose they need to build Mark up to the point where Omni-Man's actually not that big of a threat anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if he comes back and starts some shit, they're like, yeah, well, this guy's kind of...
I don't think he will, though, will he?
He's doing quite well. All we got to do is just make sure that we put his girlfriend in danger. Then he'll rip him apart.
But all Nolan has to do is just shave his mustache off and put a different costume on. No.
My name is Bolan. I'm your father's brother. I'm here to do good or whatever.
I'm Thunderbolt Ross. But I'm looking forward to it. But it was a bit annoying that we got to see Alan and Nolan and what was the Battle Cat or whatever his name is?
Battle Beast.
Yeah. Breaking out of the Viltrumite jail and stuff. Just nothing else.
Yeah,
other than Battle Beast, we get to see him show up.
Yeah, but I think it'll just be that'll be okay. Well, second season is going to be them two coming back to Earth or whatever. Or
yeah,
the sort of the revelation that actually there's only like 50 Viltrumites left, like proper ones. So this terrifying empire, it's actually so far beyond crumbled. You get like Mark, Nolan, Alan, Eve,
Battle Beast,
the Immortal, maybe get them together with and nuke the planet or whatever that they're on before you get there. Yeah, maybe you could actually wipe them all out if you really wanted to.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you reckon just the combined efforts of Mark, Nolan, and Alan would be enough to like kind of start an army strong enough to take out 50, 60 Viltrumites?
Potentially. It depends, I suppose, if there's other planets
as well, I guess.
Like in the same sense of like Alan, like they've given him abilities to overthrow or to rebel against the Viltrumites. As long as you've got like a dozen other species that are strong enough to do something similar or have their own heroes or whatever, and you could have like a galactic rebellion force that shows up and just wipes out those. Because presumably, if he's saying there's only like 50 pure blood Viltrumites left, and everyone else would be like Mark, it would be like Oliver. They've been crossbreeding with other species to try and. Why wouldn't they be banging each other constantly? Is my question. Is it because they're all just so committed to conquest and violence and upholding that they just don't have time?
Maybe. I mean, it also just could be like a pure ignorance thing where it's like we're never going to be defeated. We'll live forever.
Maybe. You might actually be right, but it's they blindsided themselves almost.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then that means that if all the other sort of half Viltrumite or part Viltrumite, if their own respective races and species can say, actually, why don't you protect us rather than these fucking fascist maniacal maniacs? Because you are strong enough to stand up against them.
Yeah.
You could convince everyone in that sort of sense, like a Mass Effect kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a big common enemy. Let's all just join forces and
together.
crush them together.
Because that could happen. Because some of the Earth heroes managed to hold their own against the various different marks.
Not really. Mainly, it was just more they didn't get attacked yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they fared well, but some of them fared better than others.
That's true, especially when there's like the guy with the hammer and a woman with the boxing gloves or whoever they are.
Yeah,
like they were whipping the shit out of Mark for a bit. And then all of a sudden it just came back and they were just not fighting him anymore. That
was never mentioned. And that, I mean, also, like, obviously Mark was holding back. He was trying to explain, he's like, I'm good Invincible kind of thing. But
you know me from my trademark blue and I've changed costumes, but it's definitely still me though.
But there isn't a bit where it goes from them to all the fights and everything else, and then it comes back and they're like, right, we get it. You're the good guy. These are the bad ones. We'll put a number 1 on your arm so we know that it's you, kind of thing. It's just like you say. It's just the final scene of that fight. They're just all cool with him, and there's no.
And the other one's just dead or unconscious or whatever.
Yeah, which was again, it's not a big plot hole. We could assume that they've gone. I don't know, like, oh, look, he's fighting all of these ones. He's obviously a good one. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's one of those things you just get cut it for time.
Yeah,
like they They agreed, or they stopped fighting because they recognised him or whatever. He said the secret superhero code phrase that only the good guys know.
Dishwasher. Like, it's him. Excellent season, though. Honest, like,
mate,
10 out of 10.
Blown me away, it has. Yeah, it's genuinely been great, this whole season has. And hopefully we get the boys this year as well.
When did the boys last one finish? Because we'll get another Gen V before we get another boys, won't we?
It depends.
I would assume so.
Well,
they'd already started filming, hadn't they?
Yeah, but this may be the last season of the boys, I reckon.
It
seems like it's building up to a last season.
I think we're going to get one Gen V, and then the next one will be potentially the last one, or they'll split it. Maybe.
Do half and half.
Got
then
to
you're
be
just
this
encouraging
year.
people to watch both.
Yeah. Same world, anything else. And I would assume if we hadn't had the tragic passing of one of the main characters in Gen V, we probably would have already had it.
Who died?
Oh, I can't remember his name. One of the main ones who he had the psychic powers. His dad used to be a thing. He was like his dad was forcing him into. I can't. Polarized, Polaris, something. Yeah, I genuinely can't remember his name. He was a great character though. He was really good.
No way, he died.
Yeah, last year.
Oh,
I believe.
I don't know.
If I remember rightly, it was a like a motor vehicle accident.
He's like
I could be wrong there. He definitely has passed away, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure if memory serves right, it was a motor vehicle accident.
That's a shame. That.
Yeah, big shame because he was a good character. Not just a shame because the character's gone. Obviously, it's awful that somebody's passed away, but he was a good character, and it looked like from what I'd read at the time, a lot of the new season was that dynamic with him and his dad carrying that on. So obviously they're going to have to take a lot out, which is assume why it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. Well, hopefully then, because Amazon has done well with this, and they were doing really well with the boys, and I want to see, and they did well with Gen V as well. So I want to see more out of that. Or bring Preacher back. I say bring Preacher back to fill in the gap.
Well, they finished it, didn't they? So the story was finished.
Just do it again. Just repeat it again, please.
Speaking of the boys, though, did you see the not leaked because it was by Warner Brothers, but Carl Urban as Johnny Cage in the new Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
So I don't know if you remember, Dan, but many episodes ago, we did a news story covering that Carl Urban was going to be playing Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat film. Now there's photos and stuff.
Is this like press photos, or is this
no? It looks like it's. I only looked at the first one because it was ones where it was on Instagram, and obviously you got the first one that you can slide across. I'm like, I don't want to slide across because this one is just Johnny Cage and some random fans. The next one could be a character that I don't know is in it, so I just left it. I let it be, but it looks like it's the, like in like the new Mortal Kombat games where he'll take a selfie and stuff before he like crams the phone into someone's mouth or whatever. That it looks like it's that kind of feeling.
Is this a sequel to the
last
Mortal
one?
Kombat with Cole and Sonya and Kano and everyone.
Yeah,
mate, I really like that.
Or is it a reboot?
They can't reboot it again that quickly. But
I'm fairly certain it is.
I know. There's still a bunch. Like, to be fair, you've got like everyone from sort of like Mortal Kombat 10, 11, and 11's the newest one, isn't it? No, and then Mortal Kombat 1, I think, is the newest one.
10. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, because there's still like a bunch of characters from the new games, like outside of your classic Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, Melina, that kind of thing. There's a bunch of the newer ones that could show up, and they there'll be an Aaron Black, I imagine. Like he's kind of like a fan
he's a cool one
with
though.
Cowboys and stuff. Yeah, exactly. But like Devora makes sense, but I'm pretty sure they had like some winged woman that Kung Lao like fatalities.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like,
the one that he kills with his hat.
Yeah, but I don't think
But
she's.
it's not Devora. I think
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's just some rando.
I think it was just a winged
like,
demon.
Why would you not? Yeah, it's just like one of Shao Kahn's mates, isn't it? But why wouldn't you use her? Maybe they just like, well, we don't want to just have her be killed with a flawless.
Yeah, you don't want to bring someone like that in.
Fatality. What a waste! Yeah.
I mean, unless you've got some big plans like X-Force in Deadpool 2, where it's like they make a big deal out of it and then they kill them all off, and it's a very funny thing, and we all move on. But with Mortal Kombat, you bring in like Devora is like another fan favorite. You bring her in, and people are like, "Yeah, hey, Devora, she's dead." Okay, it's not the same kind of funny impact as X-Force, but it's also annoying because she's been in like one scene, and that's it. It's gone now. And it had its flaws, but I didn't hate the Mortal Kombat film, the newest.
I had a great little time with it. I think the guy who played Kano carried a lot of it for me. I think like he was so funny and he was so into it. But you know, having like Ermac or Kenshi or I don't know, like just like characters that I really enjoy. Like what's like Scarlet? She's a blood-based ninja sort of fighter, isn't she? Something like that. Like you could do that all day.
What's
like
the
just get
one...
these in, kill them off.
It's like the big monster thing with the little girl that he keeps on his back.
Oh, that's from. I think she's from.
That's from X. Well, 10.
It is from X. I don't know. I know the one you mean, but yeah,
but
that
something like that wouldn't be budget friendly. To say, like you could get something like that where people who have played the newer games at least will go, I know that one, and then they kill that character off because it doesn't make financial sense
it's
to carry on.
It's not Johnny Cage or Sonya Blade or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of characters I can see them using. Even like, I mean, you could get away with Baraka because there's loads of Barakas.
Tarkatan, I think they are.
Something, yeah. So you could get away with killing one of them off, and then just bring another one back later on.
Yeah. I think there's like that's the beauty of it though, is that you can introduce any character from any of the games, any of those rosters, and if you killed them off, you can't. People won't go in. I can't believe it. How could you kill it? It's like, well, that's the fucking game. Yeah, Melina showed up, and yet we tore a fucking face off because Kitana bladed her shit.
But now it's round 2.
That's the point. They're supposed to be murdered to death. That's the point, right? Isn't that why you all love it, you fucking maniacs?
That's what they did really well in the animated film, though, like Scorpion's Revenge.
And man, I haven't seen that in ages.
That's a good film. Good film, that was. And they did another one after, I believe. I can't remember what it's called, though.
They did a Johnny Cage one, didn't they?
It could have been Johnny Cage, yeah. Oh, I played that game you told me to play the other day as well. A Game Pass 8 is first-person shooter.
Oh,
it's like Rack'em Sack'em Handsome Robot or something. I can't remember.
Mad Jack.
Yeah.
Mohawk Madcap or something.
It's excellent.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just
but that reminded me of like something that Johnny Cage would just go and play on an arcade while he was waiting. That's actually the reason I brought it up.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a fun game though, very fun game. I thought I'll put that on to install, and it was like 800 meg, and I was like, I thought it was going to be way bigger than this.
There's nothing to it. Yeah, it's very
real
good
though.
I'll tell you what though, I did actually get. I can't remember if you got invited. I've had the playtest invite quite a few times, but I've never actually got it. But the Skate, I've got the closed alpha test. I don't know if you got that or did they not?
I had an email through, but I haven't done anything at all with it.
Right. Well, I did, and I have played a bit of it, and it isn't bad. I'm not the biggest skating game fan, but it seems fine for what it is. The what I couldn't quite get around though is that there's a store within it, so you can buy things in a alpha.
I mean,
like,
does it
for
work?
a game that does not exist?
Does this still work? Can you buy can you spend real money?
Yep.
I fucking hate that then. Like if it was just a case of like, this is what it will be like, but you can just go in and it'll let you just have like this hat and this deck and these wheels
some,
and stuff.
Token aesthetic bits that you.
But if it's real world money,
unless they've gotten so much backlash about it already, they've taken it out. But when I was in there, yeah, you could.
That's awful. That's fucking awful.
I mean, considering there's so much of that world that is not textured yet. It's like covered in sort of like the white checkered stuff because it's like well, we haven't got the pavement skin for that yet. It just seemed a bit fucking bonkers.
That's abysmal. I can't believe it's done that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to launch it. Assuming I've still got access, I'm going to launch it right bloody now, and we'll see if it's still in there. Live Chalum.
Chalum Bing.
Live on stream.
I'm quite a big Tony Hawk and Skate. Like Skate 3 is one of my favourite skating games. It's a lot of good fun. And I remember Skate 2 was one of the first ones that had like the Mortal Kombat X-ray style moves where like when you fell over and you could break your legs and stuff. Yeah. It's so good. Logan still plays Skate 3 now.
3 and 4, and they come to Game Pass. It's like a remastered version of those.
I mean, they're already out, so I assume they'll come to Game Pass at some point.
Sure. I know I've seen it on the Game Pass like homepage thing. But there's been a couple of drops on there since we've last been on. What I'm hoping comes up reasonably soon is, guess what came out today, Callum?
What came out today?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah,
Shadows.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that Mirage shows up as part of the Ubisoft Uplay thing relatively soon then, because I really want to play Mirage, but at this point I don't feel it's worth me actually paying for it because it seems a bit silly.
If I was going to buy one,
if I bought it today, it would be... Oh, this is a pre-alpha, sorry, it's not even an alpha, Jesus. So Callum, I thought, honestly, I might have given them a bit more credit than I thought they were due. That, you know, they'd add something like that into a pre-alpha, to be clear. And they've, you know, people have gone, what the fuck are you playing at? And then they've taken it out. No, they haven't, because I'm looking at it right now. So the skate points, or whatever you want to call them, for 500, bear in mind I had 250, and I've just used them to buy some shorts, just to see if it would then say, oh, you need to then go and buy more currency. But I found it in the shop. So for 500, which is the equivalent of 2 pieces of clothing, maybe, is £4.49.
Ooh.
For 1,000 is $8.99, $21.99, $45.49, $87.99. Callum, on a pre-alpha for a game that barely exists and barely works and runs, you can spend £88 on 130,000 points.
That's more than Fortnite's V-Bucks. I think the most expensive of them is 70 quid.
I would very much like to think that if you were to purchase those points, or you were to purchase items through those points in the pre-alpha, that it would carry through into the actual version of your game. And I do remember seeing some kind of disclaimer about the points thing, but I don't remember what it said. So it could be that if you're buying anything for this, then it will not carry over. I don't know that.
Just before we go further, are we allowed to talk about this?
I'm not showing any footage from it. But
yeah, I didn't know, because we've done some, like Anthem, we wasn't allowed to talk about it or stream it or anything.
No, there's like codes on the screen to like numbers. So if you were to stream this or record it, presumably they'd be able to track that number.
Yeah,
and then block my account or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm absolutely sure it came up with something about this is what you need to know.
There's definitely no, like, because some games do it where you can play an alpha, and then you can play the beta, and it will carry over into the full release if you buy it, but not many of them do. And I'd be willing to wager a lot of money that if you was to spend money in this, and don't spend it, just buy the skate books or whatever they are, and then got the full game, you wouldn't have that currency.
I'm more inclined to disagree and say that if you're spending 80 quid in a pre-alpha, which one you should not be able to do that.
Don't do that.
But if you were, then they would carry over. That would be my thinking. I just cannot imagine that you would be allowed. But again, you're playing the most basic version of it. It's fine. I'm not the biggest Skate fan, but it's quite fun. It's quite tricky as well, which is kind of what you want to do. You want to get good at it by learning the sort of weird nuances to everything and how the board flicks work and all that kind of stuff. And if I was more into that sort of thing, then yeah, maybe it might be. Maybe I do prefer the sort of more arcadey kind of like Tony Hawk's thing. I was excited to have access to it, but when I saw that, and I was like, "What do you mean? I can buy things in something that doesn't even exist? You may still cancel this. What do I do then? Yeah. You're going to give me a refund on my imaginary currency that I've just spent 90 quid on?"
Because it's been a long time since we've had a new because I know they brought out a Skate. I think it was on Xbox One, PS4, where you had a physical board that you could stand on. I remember that being a thing. But Skate 3 is the last one I remember properly. And that was 360.
Yeah. Well,
so
this is it's not like Skate 4.
No, it's just like a remake.
A in Skate is
a reboot.
A 4. Yeah. So that really took me off guard seeing that on an alpha before, because we've had our fair share of betas and alpha playtests and closed playtests and things like that. But it's like a demo version to be like, it's a bit of a privilege for you to see it kind of ahead of time. But we want to use it to get feedback and bug reports and that kind of thing from players as well. I've never seen one that says, "Hey, do you want to buy something in it?" And I mean, I'm not just going to say it's EA, but it is EA
thing to do.
I mean, that is a new one on me. That is, I never thought I'd see that before, but it's their game. I suppose they can do whatever they want. They're not forcing anyone to play anything, are they?
No. Even within,
because I think the game itself is going to be free, so all of the clothes and all that kind of stuff.
That changes things then, Dan.
It does, but again, you do it in the game that exists.
Yeah, I mean, not in the pre-alpha, obviously, but
yeah, I just don't understand why it wouldn't just be like you can just have. You've got the clothes, and how you dress in it is not the part we need you to test. It's a play test, and stuff. Not a look test. Or is it just this way we can start making money off people before we've even had to finish the game?
I mean, that as well. I mean, it's got to be a first. Or then again,
it may be. I don't know. This could just be a standard practice.
Star Citizen ain't even out yet, and people have spent thousands of pounds on that.
What's that?
Was it Star Citizen? Or am I thinking of a different
Citizen?
game?
Yeah. No, Star Citizen. Yeah.
And people have spent thousands and thousands of pounds on that, just on ships and stuff, and it hadn't even been released at that point. I don't think it's had a proper release yet, has it?
No, I don't think it is currently.
So I suppose that's worse than $4.99 for a T-shirt.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe we need to have a look at some of the sort of the general feedback about this. Like, am I just overreacting, or is that just a ridiculous thing to do?
I mean, now knowing that it's potentially a free-to-play game, having the store in it to buy T-shirts, shorts, trainers and stuff, no issues, whatever. Yeah. But the fact that it's already... So they're working on all of the mechanics and stuff, but the one thing that they have got sorted is the in-game purchasing of the items.
The store's working fine, yeah.
Yeah. That just seems a bit... It just seems seedy. It's probably not meant to be. And it's probably just, this is the easiest thing because we're going to take the same kind of thing that we've got in a different game. It's already set up. So it's just gone plonk, done. But it just seems a bit odd. And I'd be surprised if maybe people have bought stuff.
Maybe. Again, I don't know if that currency or the purchases carry over. I don't know. What if you buy it on Steam, though? Is it your account that follows? Has it got to be the same platform that you got the alpha on?
I suppose that's no different to like Red Dead and stuff. Like if you started playing on PlayStation and then you load it on the launcher, as long as you use the same details, you'll have everything.
Yeah, but my Game Pass login is different from my EA login. But I use games through both of those.
It would be your EA login though, wouldn't it? You've just linked your accounts. That's all.
No, it's a separate. I have to log out and then log back in on my own one. The Game Pass one is different to my own one.
Oh, I've just linked my EA account.
Yeah, but I purchased games. So like the Mass Effect Legendary Edition that I've got, that I bought that. Yeah. That isn't the Game Pass one. But if I was to go on Game Pass, because Game Pass logs in with a different login to my EA one, Mass Effect doesn't show within the list on Game Pass. But The Sims will. Because that is something that I've got through Game Pass through EA, not through my EA. So it's a different account.
Got it, yeah.
So if you were to do the same thing, well, you're locked into just using that one profile, maybe?
I suppose. I mean, it depends how they... If you just launched it on EA, that'd be the easiest way of doing it.
Maybe, again, I don't want to overthink it. It's just... It just baffled me a little bit. I've just never seen it, because typically you're testing the absolute bare bones. And with the pre-alpha, it's the bare bones of the bare bones.
Yeah.
But you can still spend money in it. Mad.
I mean,
absolutely mad. I guarantee that all the content at the store doesn't exist. It's not like every board is there ready to go and you can buy them all today if you wanted to. There'll be like 8.
But that'll be the thing though, like the store in Fortnite where it will rotate and you'll go in and they go, oh, it's got this person in now, so I'm going to buy that, or I'm going to save it until this person's in the store. And I assume they'll do the same with the decks and t-shirts and stuff in this, where it'll be maybe not so much a rotation, but you'll get new inventory as time goes on.
Like a new artist has added their collection in or whatever. Probably, yeah. It's again, I've got no issue with people charging for aesthetic stuff within a free-to-play game. Fill your boots. That's how you're going to make your money back. You're a business at the end of the day. It's just weirded me out. That
it's just the fact that it's in the alpha.
So on the nose.
It's weird. Yeah,
it's just like the whole map isn't rendered, and we haven't got this working properly. And you might fall through the floor, and you'll spawn in the middle of somebody else, but you can still give us £90 for the privilege.
Yay. Anyway, I don't think I got nothing else, my friend. Don't know if you have.
No, I went to see Mickey 17 at the cinema the other day, and it's a terrific film, and everyone needs to go and watch it immediately, you included.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be honest, I forgot all about it until you texted me and said, I've just watched Mickey 17. I went, that's the Rob Pattinson one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You've seen Moon?
Yes.
Very strong Moon vibes.
Trailer looked really good.
Also, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd just be a bit sort of fluffy, but it wasn't until I got in when I was meeting my mates and they were like, "Oh, it's the director of Snowpiercer and Parasite," and I was like, "Parasite's a great fucking movie, and I fucking love Snowpiercer." So that heightened my expectations, and yeah, man, it met them. I genuinely enjoyed that. Came out of it just thinking, I'm so glad, because that was before I saw Captain America. So that was the day I was like, oh well, seeing this Robert Pattinson thing. Not that I've got anything against him, but I was like, Captain America's on at the moment, and I probably should watch that instead. Maybe. Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't.
You should have done it the other way around though.
Yeah, it would have got it like doing a double feature.
Yeah, watch the worst one first. That's like your palate cleanse, and then you watch the good film. But I haven't seen a great deal of it, to be honest. I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks pretty good. Forgot all about it. I haven't heard anything about it.
Some absolutely cracking actors in it. Yeah, it's so worth the watch, mate. Genuinely is. So
definitely
try and get on that when you
can. I can't remember. I'll be honest, next time I go to cinema now, it's probably Thunderbolts, I'll be honest.
See, that's the thing. I don't even think I'm going to go for that one.
I definitely am.
It's just, I always know that going to the cinema is always a chore in itself. And like going to see this, there was us 3 and there was like 10 people in there. Everyone was shut up. Everyone was off their phone.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that adds to the experience, because I don't keep getting pulled out of watching it because someone's phone's flashing or someone's rattling something. And going to see something like Thunderbolts, especially as if you're trying to avoid spoilers, you want to get in there sort of reasonably early. You're in there with 150 people who, half of them are just being dragged along, and they're just not interested.
We've started doing it like when we do go, unless it's with Logan, like then we'll just go whenever. But if it's a film, it's particularly like MCU films, or where there is potentially going to be a lot of people going, both put the day off. Logan's gone to school, and we'll go at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Man,
There's
I remember doing that.
10 people there
Star
at the
Wars
most.
And
yeah.
Infinity War coming out. I was taking days off work for that. If I'd have taken the day off work to go and see Captain America, I'd have been fucking livid.
No, I mean, this was just
precious
like
holidays
evening
wasted.
Time thing this was, but for stuff where I genuinely do want to, I think it's going to be a good time, and it's obviously that's Roscoe, but like, we don't go to the cinema as often as we used to, and it is something we both like doing. And if it's that bad, I can go to sleep.
Tuesday morning or
something. But that's what I say. I think one of the newest Star Wars was it could have been like Infinity War or something like that. But we started doing it. It was just like, we just got to do this all the fucking time. This is way better. And like I say, less it's like Sonic 3, or inevitably we'll have to take him to see Minecraft, where it's just we'll just fucking go whenever.
Minecraft. Borderlands is on fucking Amazon as well. I need to get.
I noticed it the other day. Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
Every time I see something like that, I'm like,
I forgot.
I have to watch it. I have to watch it. It's part of the lore. You have to do it. But Minecraft is one that I'm just. Part of me is just sort of like, I know it's going to be no good, so I don't have any expectation. I'll watch it because then it's a Minecraft thing, and obviously it's the first Minecraft movie. Yeah, you got to go and watch it. I'm not going to the cinema to watch it, but there isn't a single thing that they could do worse than I imagine it's going to be.
I think if we go in with those expectations,
right, if it's actually quite funny, because Jumanji, watching Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
I was just sort of like, this is you're just milking a dead horse here, and you haven't got Robin Williams anymore. What's the point? And I was so surprised watching that, just going, this is actually a fucking great little movie.
It's all right. It's not bad. Yeah.
I've seen that quite a few times, and Next Level as well. And
I don't think Next Level's that strong.
Oh, I really like it with like Danny DeVito and Danny Glover in it.
It's fine. It's just I don't think it's as strong as the first one.
No, I kind of disagree. I think there's elements about that I think is better than the first. But what was I talking about then?
Expectation.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the only thing I could get out of Minecraft, is if I go, this is just going to be a cheap cash-in bullshit movie. Yeah. And if it's actually quite funny or quite creative or, very slapsticky or whatever, it plays to, Jason Momoa not being a comedy actor and Jack Black, and it takes me off guard, that will be an amazing experience then, even though it's kind of middle groundish. But I'll be like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be just absolute dog poo, and you've proper taken me off guard. Borderlands, though, is one that I can safely say I will not enjoy.
Nope. I'm not looking forward to it in the slightest.
I don't know anyone who's been to see it, and the very few things I've seen online are all just sort of like, eh.
I don't think the cast are happy that they're in it. Never mind the people watching it. I just can't think of... I mean, there's a similar... Oh, just good news, just Bob talk about video game stuff. We had a very quick conversation yesterday, I think, about Amazon's new God of War TV series that's in production. Mm-hmm. Director openly said, I'm not a gamer, not played the God of War games. But Corey Barlog, who's the creator of God of War, he's still actively involved with the creation.
Yeah.
So that's good, at least.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with this Borderlands movie, where they've very clearly not paid any attention to the medium that they've taken the source material from, and they've just kind of made a game that's got it's Borderlands in like names and title and maybe gun names and stuff like that, but nothing else. That's what it looks like from. I mean, we need to watch it, I guess. But I've watched
I know.
I've watched Venom 3 and Craven, so Borderlands can't be worse.
No, that it'd have to be better than that.
It's got to be.
But it's just weird. We're sort of going through this weird up and down of like, because, you know, all video game media was pretty much bullshit outside of video games. Like, all the translations just weren't working for, you know, like 20 years. You know, and we're getting somewhere, and now we just seem to be sort of like having a hit, then a miss, then a hit, then a miss. Like, Mario's okay. I know some people really like it. Then you'll get Minecraft, and then you'll get Borderlands, but then you'll get The Last of Us, and then you'll get Fallout. Like, it's just... I just don't know what it is. They just can't seem to quite crack the formula. Other than, I don't know, maybe working with the people who come up with the fucking thing in the first place.
I think
listen
that's the
to
difference
them
there.
And try and replicate it as best you can. Either shot for shot and word for word, or you go completely new and you just capture the spirit and the aesthetic of it.
Which is what Fallout did.
Just do that. Or, better still, give up.
You don't do it. Like,
just leave it be.
But you could tell the difference though, and like Neil Druckmann actively involved in The Last of Us, Corey actively involved with God of War. Hopefully, will be in the same kind of improvements. But then you got like Todd Howard involved with Fallout, and the ones that are more miss than hit, I think it is just where they. I mean, like the guy who made Halo, and he's just like, I'm not played the games, I've not read the novels. Just see how we go.
Someone showed me a picture and said, like a space soldier, aliens, the Covenant, Halo is a big ring weapon. Go make a show off your pop.
What's he look like without his helmet on? Doesn't take his helmet off. Well, that's not going to work, is it?
That's going to change, yeah.
Yeah. And there's certain creative things. So, like in The Last of Us, they changed the way that the infection was like the spores and stuff, so they didn't have to wear the masks. Which initially I was like, fuck off. That's one of the main story beats in the game. But then the more you think about it, it's like, but then the whole thing's going to be them talking like that, and that's not going to be a good experience for the viewers.
Basically,
so
you're removing
I get
the
it.
game mechanic. But
yes,
you're keeping the same story thing. Because again, you can't just capture all the cool stuff in the game because it's you doing it, and I think you do lose something of it. But you can capture the characters and the spirits, and you know what that world is really like. If you can do that, then you can kind of build on there. You know, if you do a Wolfenstein show or film or whatever, it doesn't need to be about BJ Blazkowicz. It can just be, you know, against. It's just be about resistance fighters, and you know the Nazis have gone absolutely insane. They won the war, and you know it's exactly the same stuff. And then you don't just need to have an enormous guy machine gun. Again, you could make Doom, as they keep on trying to do, Callum, but all of them refuse to put Doomslayer in it because, one, no human is that size. Two, no actor would ever agree to get to that size and not have their face in it or ever say a word.
Yeah.
And three, it would be an hour and a half of constant guns and explosions and blood and people being torn apart, which as a game is incredible, but I couldn't tolerate. You need to say, fuck it, slow down for a minute. Can someone just have a conversation without ripping someone's spine out? But then you go, well, then that's not Doom, is it?
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was going to say. Is you either do it, and it's like it's just like watching the game, and then people go, well, I'll just play the fucking game. Like this is pointless. And then you make it different, so it's not that. And I go, this is nothing like the game. You'll never win. You'll never win.
No,
ever.
Of course you won't. You never will. No.
I can't think of a game more like Doom is. You can't make a film. It's impossible. And they've even tried with the more story-driven one of Doom 3. We'll use that as like kind of like the catalyst to make the movie. That doesn't work. And you can't make one for like Eternal. it's just don't do it.
Yeah.
It just seems really stupid, and somehow
it would have to be like it would have to be something around like the new like the remake of Doom, like the Bethesda Doom, and Eternal by consequence. And it would need to be about like the ancient kings and you know these aliens or interdimensional beings or whatever they were. You know, kind of. And hell and how that works and like the politics and logistics of it all. And you know there's always the talk of this, you know, this great enemy, this god slayer, this whatever. and you could only have him show up and kill everything once.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to retain the impact. And it would just be... I think it could potentially be incredible. You just have like 20 minutes of just crazy metal music and this enormous hulk of a guy chainsawing the living shit out of people, blowing stuff up, like punching through demon... I think it would be incredible, but it would cost like 10 million to just shoot those 20 minutes and make it feel like, those Doom games do. Outside of that, you can't do it, so just don't do it.
But
aim at the story stuff. You do Uncharted and ruin it. Game. Oh wait, no, they've already done that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But again, like Last of Us was great. I still don't think we needed it. And Uncharted's I still put them in the same position where the games are cinematic on their own. Mm-hmm. And as good as The Last of Us is, although to be fair, did you see the poster from yesterday for season 2? Where they've recreated the cover,
like back to back. Yeah.
No, it's the one where like Ellie's like dead angry looking. She got blood on and stuff. It's like Last of Us Part 2, like the game cover, and then they've done the live action one. She's just staring. It's just like, don't look angry at all. But I dare say season 2 is going to be as good, maybe even better than season 1.
Well, I don't know, Callum, because I can't watch it, can I?
Not yet, because you've not played the game, Dan. But
although the specs for The Last of Us 2 for PC I did see today, so I'm not sure if that's due out soon, but
I would assume so. If
basically, it's saying that if you wanted to run it on like Ultra, you need like a 4070, which is nonsense.
I mean, you can typically
I know mine will. It'll be absolutely fine doing it. So I don't know when that's out, honestly, but
it's got to be soon.
Yeah, I was hoping that it would come out with a couple of months to spare before the show started again, so I could get through it, play it, finish it, and then watch the show without any spoilers. But I don't know, at this rate, probably I won't get a chance.
You might have to just play it on my PlayStation, then. Just so you can get it done.
Nah. I've still got... Mate, I'm looking at my desktop at the moment. I've got about 8 games on here, all paid for. I'm just like, I need to finish that. That's great. I haven't started that one yet. I need to do that more.
I haven't even started Valve yet.
Do you know the only thing I'm playing at the moment, Callum, and this will... You won't be able to guess this, probably. Breath of the Wild.
Oh, really?
I don't know what's happened. I went... I was visiting a friend of mine it was about a month ago now, near enough. And it's a hell of a long train journey. And took my Switch, and I was just like, I was playing... I'd finished Odyssey, I finished Kirby, Forgotten Land. I was playing a bit of Animal Crossing. And I was just like, there's only so many times I can pick flowers for the next 3 hours. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just getting back into Zelda. Everyone's always banging on about this fucking game, and I've told you this before. So I just don't see what everybody gets about it. When you put the time into it, Callum, I fucking see it now.
It's excellent, mate.
Tears
of the Kingdom even better.
Fantastic. And I think it's just because, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's because I was doing it in drips and drabs. As soon as I actually committed hours, because I'd forget how the combat works, and it was dead clunky, and it's there's no real dodge rolls or anything like that. You got to keep jumping, but I didn't know how that worked. But as soon as I started to understand the mechanics, and then I was getting more and more invested in like cooking 600 different dishes, and then I'm like going, okay, well actually I want to take on these bigger bosses now. Now I've got the Master Sword. Oh my god, like I'm so fucking invested in it. It's absolutely. I've changed my mind on it completely. It's amazing.
Tears of the Kingdom takes that and it just elevates it more, and then plus you've got like building mechanics and like you build any vehicle and stuff that you want to.
Building massive rocket.
Yeah, people have built like fucking the Megazord and everything. It's mental. Whereas I remember being all happy with myself because I made a cart that I could attach to my horse, which meant I could like bring more stuff. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I go on YouTube and people have made like Rock'em Sock'em robots, and like they've made like these portable jail things where they can like stop like huge like creatures, drop the thing on them, jump down and just shoot them through the thing until they're dead, and then they pick it up and take it. It's like, some of the stuff's amazing, but yeah, it's way better, way fucking better. And Breath of the Wild's fucking excellent.
It is, and I've got 3 Divine Beasts done now. So now I'm trying to find as many shrines as I can, because I think that's all I was doing. I was just going to the next tower, revealing the next part of the map, going to the next shrine, getting to the next shrine, and not really doing anything. I hadn't upgraded any equipment or anything. Like, all my armor and stuff was all like level 2, because I didn't know. Again, I just didn't commit to it properly. Yeah. And now I'm just sort of like, all right, I'm hitting every fucking clothing shop I can find. What have you got? What benefits can I get from this? Oh my god, I need to go to the dye shop. What if I give him this? Can that change something about it? Like, I dropped some. I killed a fucking like a elk thing, like in the forest, like the Tabantha snowfields or whatever. And it, just to get some random meat. And as it dropped, by the time I got over to it, the meat had frozen. And then if you eat that meat, you get a heat resistant boost when you go to the desert. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But then, like, now I'm, like the physics behind it is just so sort of odd, but like so well thought through. Like, I'm fishing now. I'm just throwing remote bombs in and exploding them, and it just brings all the fish up to the surface. Collect.
That's what Homer does in The Simpsons, where he throws the electric thing in.
Absolutely worked. And like, a friend of mine, she was telling me about like the what's it, like a Moldor or something like that, like a big desert worm thing. Yeah. And she's like, oh my god, they're this absolute pain in the arse. They jump you and then they're really difficult to kill. And I was like, well, if I get on top of a big stone, it can't stop it. But because it's sound based, if you throw a bomb into the desert, it goes for the bomb, comes up, you explode it, it stuns it, and you just beat the shit out of it and then get back on your rock.
Get back up.
I've killed like 3 of them, and they haven't touched me yet. Like, there's just all these little tips and tricks that you can, just figure out that it just enhances it. Like, it's so clever.
It's very well made.
Like, more so than I would ever have given it credit for before I committed to it. So I'm so glad that I have now.
That'll be why, though. Like, not even just giving the credit for it, it's the fact that it's a Zelda game, and that'll same with me and other stuff. Like, what was that? It's not like an RTS game, Wastelanders. I remember seeing that and just going, nah, that's not for me at all. And then obviously we played it together and like, this is actually really fucking good. But because I saw what it was, made an assumption of it based on my lack of those types of game, and just gone, nah, not fun. And that's what essentially, not necessarily intentionally, but obviously it's a Zelda game. Everybody loves it. It's probably not as good as everybody thinks. So same as Odyssey. I think Odyssey is fantastic. But as I also love that as a big fan of Mario and a lot of the Nintendo franchises. And I mean, out of the two, I thought you would have gone more in with Zelda over Odyssey, to be fair. But you got quite into Odyssey, and
I've completed Odyssey. There's a lot of finding random moons and that kind of stuff I need to go back to. But I was far more invested in Kirby.
Kirby's a good game though.
It's just terrific. Like, I keep on wanting to go back to it, but I'm just like, no, I'm way too invested in Zelda now. I've got to get a horse that I can steer properly. I tell you what, things like Red Dead and Ghosts absolutely ruined horse mechanics for me now, because just being able to turn left and right, ridiculous.
Yeah, but in I suppose in Zelda you could have a horse that you can, like, that's a bit more realistic, or you can have the ability to climb anything. Can't have fucking both. Whereas in Red Dead you got all this realism, but you can't jump over a ledge.
Yeah, that's true. And in Ghost you can climb a lot of stuff, but only when there's a rock cropping for it.
So I'd say just give one or the other.
Out of Outlaws, I can just.
I still can't steer that, to be honest.
I'm actually quite good at that now.
I haven't gone back to it since our last conversation many months ago.
I have. I played quite a bit of it. I'll tell you what I haven't fucking gone back to that I intended to, and then I'm actually very surprised that I haven't. Indiana Jones.
I played that 2 months ago for the first time. Couldn't remember the controls. Yep. Turned it off.
Yep. I don't know what it is, Callum, but I'm still in fucking Rome or whatever it is, and like trying to find some biscuit that someone's dropped or something like that. And I'm just like,
is it with the bit with the guy who is in prison and you've got to go and recover the artifacts? He's been arrested. The professor guy has.
Yeah, but I'm in Rome. I'm like in disguise, and I'm like trying to find a bunch of things or something.
Well, you might be a little bit ahead of me.
I'm not by fucking much, mate. I'll tell you that.
I can't.
It still feels I've got like a million billion things to do in it. But again, it's one of those things that if I had 6 hours that I could put into it, I'd probably come out of it going, "Fucking hell, this is really good, actually." But I'm just not inclined to. Again, Zelda's getting me. Outlaws, I'm going back to a lot more. Ghost of Tsushima is terrific, and I wanted to go back to that. But now I'm playing Red Dead Online a bit more. So now I genuinely don't have enough hours in the day to actually do all the fun stuff that I want to do, and it's infuriating.
It doesn't help though that Indiana is, like you just said, like if you had a spare 6 hours and you were in the mindset, you'd probably do it. It's a game you've got to get into it, and then you've got to not have anything else pop up.
Yeah,
and it's not bad, but it's not like 10. It wasn't 10 out of 10 when I first started playing it.
Again, it's one of these that maybe if I had put more and more time into it, I'd expect a lot more from it, and I'd want a lot more from it, and I was enjoying it a lot more. But I'm just not quite there. Again, obviously, I haven't gone back to it. I've installed a bunch of other things and uninstalled other things, and I'm getting back into Forza now, like the Forza 7. I'm doing
Forza for ages.
Drive. It's great. Oh, and also I figured out, the problem I had with Forza originally, where the map kept on just disappearing. I figured out why it is, because I installed it on. Well, I hadn't installed it on the M.2. I reinstalled. Yeah, I reinstalled it and put it on there. It works perfectly. It looks amazing.
So it was a you problem.
Very much so. So to everyone at Forza, I do apologise. Maybe your game was a bit broken when it came out, but I certainly didn't help matters along.
But make it compatible
reinstalling
with
it,
other storage solutions.
Now it works, and it's pretty great. I still think I prefer the Horizon kind of arcade.
Yeah, Horizon's
zipping
great.
Around a big map side of it a bit more. But yeah, it's just a really good little racing game. I really like it.
I can say I'm a big fan of Horizon. Not so much normal Forza, and in same thingy. Not a massive Gran Turismo fan either, but it's just not. It's too much for me. I'd rather just get in a car and drive rather than learn all the nuances and stuff in a virtual car that I'll never be able to drive in real life.
Well, speaking of though,
you've
just passed your driving test, Callum. Jesus Christ!
No, I thought we were going into the game.
Too hard on there.
Well, I thought that's where we were going, but because we were on about Forza and stuff, I was like,
yeah,
it's all done now, all official. And
which means that the next podcast, Callum is going to be here.
Unlikely. Price of fuel these days. I went and put fuel in the car yesterday. It was bloody £13 a litre.
I don't know.
Outrageous. That's what it said on the thing.
That
I don't know how
that
works
bad.
out.
I don't know.
Well, I put 20 quid in. I got like 220 miles out of it, so it's not too bad. But I'll do till next week and fill it up. But yeah. All done. And
congratulations.
Out of all of my side, and obviously Zoe's lot of the family, I'm the only one that passed first time.
Well done. And you also didn't tell me about it either, like a prick.
No, but nobody does, Dan. I told you the second I got home. The second I got home, you were the second to know.
Second?
Yeah, because my boss rang me as I got home. So
I'm supposed to be your best mate.
Yeah, but he rang me.
Oh, but your boss just happens to give you a call.
But yeah, you were the person I told out of that I wanted to tell. Boss I had to tell. Because he was like,
didn't want to
coming
tell
back
him.
to work or what? Because I
failed. Sorry.
Well, I told him when it was. He was the only one that I did tell because obviously I wanted to book.
You had
the time. And I'd said to him, like, if it doesn't go well, I ain't working.
I'll come back in, but you can't get anything out of me. I'll be furious.
That's all he wanted to do, is just like, I didn't anyway have the rest of the day off anyway, but and then we started later because obviously we're doing our late thing. But yeah, I told him, and then I told you. Zoe come back and pretended I hadn't passed, and then I did that with everybody else that I rang. Well, Zoe's well rang. Well, I rang her, and I was like, just like, I've come back from my driving test. She's like, oh, was that today? I thought it was soon. I was like, yeah. She said, how did it go? I was like, it's one of them, innit? She was, well, you'll pass next time. I was like, fucking pass this time. Yeah. Shut up. She was like, oh, you bugger. But yeah, that's all done. And then been driving around most of the week, to be fair. I went and picked Zoe up from the shop, which is like 3 minutes down the road earlier. It's
easy when you can, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I thought she's done it for me many times, so I'd come off my meeting, so I was like, I'll go pick her up. Yeah. And then she asked me if I'll pick her up next week because her lift's off, but she's on late. And then I went for a drive at night last night. I was like, nah, you can fucking drive yourself. I don't like it in the dark.
I've got to get used to this.
Honestly, it's so different. I went the exact way that I would have drove in the daytime, but everything was so different. And my glasses aren't anti-glare. So when the lights are coming...
so like headlights.
Hell. I thought I was going to die. So, I mean, I could take them off, but then that doesn't feel safe. Because I can see without them. It's just a little bit blurry and stuff. And I need to do a little bit more practice.
That's really weird. You wear glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see you wearing glasses.
But I only need them for... I meant to wear them for screens, and I meant to wear them for driving. And it's the main reason I had to fucking pay for them. Because I had a voucher thing through work where I could have any glasses that was under... I think it was under £60 or something like that for free.
Do you mean the lenses or the frames?
You get a choice of the... Like, so you've got these ones, which is everything.
Callum,
these
we're
ones.
just having a chat now.
We are, but I've got to finish because I started talking.
Okay, right.
And yeah, and so I was like, I picked the ones that I wanted, but because the person put on it that I'd need them for driving, it meant that I needed them for something that was outside of work, so I didn't get them for fucking free.
Yeah, we have to do a thing at work as well, where we have people saying, "Can you cover the cost of my glasses?"
Yeah,
and we go, "Yeah, as long as your optician says that they offer nothing." Literally nothing else other than work. Because if you have to use them to see a book, nope.
Yep.
You have to use them to see a step, then nope. You have to see them to use a drive a car, nope.
Yeah.
Because work will only pay for it if it's for work and work alone.
Yeah.
So unless you know your optician, you'd be like, can you just say that that's the case, please? Then, yeah, tough, you're out.
Yeah, that annoyed me. But that's why I didn't get the anti-glare stuff, because it was extra. I was like, fuck off. I'm going to pay more than I want to pay.
Well, you can change your mind now.
Yeah, I know I'm going to go next month. I'll going to go and just either get the coating put onto these or just get some new glasses altogether. But I'm glad now that, because at the time it was like I could get these, and then I think I paid 160. I think it was something like that for these and sunglasses, but the same prescription lenses.
Just get contact lenses, then you don't need a prescription lenses in anything.
Well, it was more like the sunglasses was just like, may as well, just because it made sense, but they're so good for driving. Fucking hell. Not at night time, obviously.
I was going to say.
But they're so good. But yeah, so that's all done now. So once I'm a bit braver, Dan, obviously we will do the Manchester.
Yeah, I won't be able to
travels.
get rid of you then.
Yeah. Finally come and see Little Un.
Yeah. Well, she's
the cat, by the way.
To the vets today.
Why?
She's scratched a little hole in her head.
For fuck's sake.
And I don't know why, so I took her in. And the vet looked at her for about 3 seconds and went, left the room, came back in with like a little scope thing, popped her in her ear, popped it in her other ear. I went, yeah, she's got mites, like ear mites.
Fuck's sake.
So she's scratching her head because she could feel these things inside of her ear. I'm just like,
how'd you got that then?
That's where the fuck have you got those from? Well, that's the thing. I can investigate all I want, but the fact of the matter is that she needs to have drops in her ears twice a day, which means that she's going to be furious twice a day because, to be fair, she's a pretty ragdolls are named that for a reason. Like they're very timid and very floppy, and they're basically
just to let you do it.
They'll put up a bit of a fight once, then twice, and then go, yeah, fine. That's typically what I do. Like she's, yeah, kind of, yeah, trying to get me to do anything, yeah. But when I was putting her in the carrier to take her in, like the last time I put her in there, she went to the vets and they were poking in her eyes, and then I had to take her to a specialist, and they were putting stuff in her eyes. Yeah. So typically when she leaves, she's not having the best of times, and she was not having any of it today. And I was like, there was a fucking taxi on the way. You're getting in this bag. Put her in, jump straight out. Put her in, wouldn't put her feet in. And then I got her and I was like, you're going in this fucking bag, love. And then she was like, oh, all right. Then went in.
You need to take her somewhere nice so it's not always a bad thing.
Funnily enough, I'm thinking of doing that literally this weekend. Like taking her to the park or something like that so she can just get a bit of fresh air and she doesn't think that I'm going out to get someone poked into an orifice.
Because then it's 50-50 then when she's got to get in. She's like, I might be going for an ice cream. But it could be the other thing.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe. So she's just going to have to get used to having some squishy stuff in her ears until all these fucking little insects get out of my insects.
I don't know how they do it. Insects. Like, because the... do you remember Wally? So his mum's old dog, little white Westie.
Vaguely, yeah. I do, yeah.
He ended up getting... he had mites in his paws, but obviously got them from like going on walks and stuff.
Yeah, as you would, yeah.
He got a grass seed in, and it started to grow. So that was obviously all uncomfortable. Then he got, I think they're called Dexter mites, but those you can't get rid of. It's just medication for the rest of his life and stuff. But I have no idea how fucking Hascat would fucking get anything like that.
I don't know. I mean, you can track them in without even realising it. I mean, the guy was saying that basically they typically get them from other cats. So she did spend a night in a cat hotel. So whilst they're not socialising with other cats, that's the only time that she's been out of sight of me.
Yeah.
So unless it's something that I've tracked in error or unknowingly, then maybe she's just picked up a thing from in there, and it's just because these scratches have only happened in the last couple of weeks or so, which is it was only spotted yesterday, which is why I've taken an emergency half day off work, because I was like, God, what if she's got fucking parasites crawling around in the skin or something? And then they were just like, yep, it's this. Just a couple of drops, gets rid of them, a couple of weeks, should be fine.
Which is good.
It is good. She's just feeling very sorry for herself at the moment.
I don't blame her.
I can understand why. I imagine it's difficult to sleep when you've got something crawling around inside your ears.
I mean, it's bad enough when you've just got a headache and you're trying to sleep and you can't because it's just dull throb. So imagine that. It's got to be way worse than a headache, that is.
Probably, yeah. It's just like a little tooth niggling at you.
Poor little
bugger. Should be fine. Should be fine.
It will be. Anyway, we're going to call it there, Sunshine, because we're over the 2-hour mark. You know what that means?
We've done a bad. But if you want to hear a good one, you can go to podcastdisplay.com. It's all going along at the bottom of the screen. You've got all our other podcasts, reviews, let's plays, game shows, and loads of other things that we've done. Dan. Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.